Thank you for watching here on TikTok Live. I'm sorry, YouTube Live at Blooming Light at Blooming's Tribe. If you're logging in live, then you're logging in on Monday, September the 15th, um, 2025, approximately 11:19 Central Standard Time in the U.S. and Southeast Texas, specifically Beaumont, Texas. If you're logging in at a different time, later date, later time, just thank you for watching. If you're a decent being in this universe, once again, thank you for watching. I honor you and salute you. And if you're new to the channel, check out the homepage and as well as any links I have there pertaining to my other platforms. I do need to update and add my Facebook because there's only one Facebook that I am active on. So, if you all are trying to connect on Facebook or you want to message me there, you would want to have the right link because I'm not active at any other Facebook that I may have had. Okay. Anywho, once again, check out all that. I have over 2,000 videos. It's a mixture of a little bit of everything. Okay. Here within the next few months, though, I will be going through the YouTube channel that I've created here. So I will be going through the videos, and lots of the videos are going to become private. Okay, I'm going to be going in my archives and privating a lot of the videos. Okay, and there'll be select few that I keep public, and things of that nature. I'm trying out a couple little things here. Okay, want to mix it up a little bit. To see if it can shift up the energies. Okay, so just be on the lookout for that. If suddenly it seems like videos were once upon a time there and now it's saying that it's private, is because I've started to go through the archives and private a lot of them, and I'm going to reserve those. Okay, anywho, let's go ahead and get into the reading. So I think the thumbnail that I used was the cover-up is always worse than a crime. And the title says that the karmics didn't want anyone to ever know. We have asked on a collective scale the question, for those of you that this is applying to, and you know that you were targeted, you know that there was cults, you know that was your family, you know they stole from you. Some of you out there have the idea is why not leave it at that? Why not just drop it there? They weren't going after it. It was done for. And so a lot of people are struggling possibly with okay, so why do all of this? Why go there? You already, what else? You already done stole. You already, it's done. The person doesn't seem, at least at that time, the collective doesn't seem to really care. They doesn't seem to, want to pursue anything. So why all of this? Why is this escalated to what it became versus what it started? It started bad enough. Okay, there was always a level of toxicity and harm. Some of you are going to discover how far back that went in terms of certain incidences that happened to your children, certain things that you're going to find that information and you're going to draw the connection that they have something to do with it. Okay, this is why there was a lack of empathy, a lack of warmth, a lack of compassion, because there was an involvement. It had to be like a forced, fake, you know what I'm saying? Because their hands was in the whole shiznit. So here it is. They didn't want anybody to ever know. See, it's two, and that's what this reading is going to be. There's two things. Okay, I'm going to share some clips here in a minute, and then I'm going to get into the actual read, if it lets me. Yep, I'm going to share a couple clips. They didn't want to have to ever be accountable, no doubt. Okay, they didn't want to have to worry, okay, or think about any possibility of ever getting into any kind of legal trouble for the things that could be caught as a legal issue. okay? Like the theft of an inheritance or a gift, okay? Fraud, documents and all those things that were involved to do so. That's one of the reasons. Because they looked at the collective as the witness. They looked at the collective like that, especially if you were somebody into certain things like myself, okay? They knew. That's why they wanted you to be discouraged from it. And that's why they also wanted people why they end up getting a lot of folks to try, okay, to exhaust you, distract you, even doing workings onto your gifts to confuse it, because they knew that if you stayed on that path, that you, at some point, nigga, that it was the truth was gonna be revealed, okay? So there is your motivation. If somebody is wondering, where is the motive? Okay, there's the motive. Also, the sociopathic side, they just didn't want anybody to ever know that this was who they really are. And they felt like everything else is on a lock, because listen, whether folks get this or not, most of the people that's in the lives of these individuals are under their spell. And if they're not under the spell, then it's either a few things, okay? If they're not under their spell, they are easily controlled, bullied, blackmailed, or bribed. And that's their leverage. You see what I'm saying? Even if their spell broke off of whatever the case may be, most folks, they felt like that's on a lock, okay? Because they got too much leverage on other motherfuckers. If motherfuckers want to get a bright idea someday to get the second cases of the consciousness, okay? Yeah, okay? And that, they can bully people, they can bribe people, and so forth, except the collective. And they know that. So the reason why they took it to the extreme of following them around to other states and getting cults, started, and, recruiting and offering people things and, all of that is because, again, they needed the collective gone. If they could not have the collective dead, slow death preferably, because then they can do a little bit of torture and get a little bit of a sadist, high off of that. But incapacitated, so that if by chance the collective decided to speak out once it started unraveling and becoming clear, then they have already managed to torture them so much, to create niggles and issues, and to spread the lies and rumors and gossips to such a magnitude that maybe nobody will take it serious and nobody would believe it, because they have people that they have purchased to co-sign their lies. They have people they have purchased to co-sign their fake alibis. They have all of that in play. So the reason, though, is they needed to remove the collective. Okay, it wasn't just about getting what they wanted out of, whatever was wrong with them, whether they felt like they never got the attention, they want the house, love, admiration, whatever. It wasn't just that. That's why that wasn't enough. That's why they couldn't, just let go. Okay, well, I fucked their dudes, or I fucked their women, and I stole their house and whatever was for them. That wasn't enough. They needed the humiliation because they're trying to get create a portfolio. They're trying to build a fraudulent case, if you will, so that it would bring us some reasonable doubt when the target, when the collective, once they can, because they got to unravel. There's so much that was already on them and their children, and then so much that was continued to be put on them and their children, on top of just everyday living life like every other Joe Schmo. So it takes time, you know, and all of their high grade, sophisticated $1 million spell. You know, so by the time that happens, you see that they done already got a story going, because they done been torturing the motherfuckers and shit. They done been triggering the bitches and getting reactive abuse. So it's, you know, they've been causing problems in their lives behind the scene. So it's already manufacturing like this false. But that's why. Now, before we get into, we got to read here, okay, of what's happening now, because the bottom of the deck, I got Alchemist and frustrated reverse, Angel of Love, and the World over here. So they had to go this far. They had to go that far because they were becoming frustrated. They had to go that far because they could no longer keep the collective frustrated. They didn't want nobody, to possibly prostitute. Oh, shit. Misuse of the power and knowledge that come through spiritual practice. They didn't even want people to know that. Okay? And the collective is the evidence. They didn't want they didn't want people to find out that they were a prostitute, or that they were sending prostitutes to the collective as lovers. Ooh. Man toots. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. What do they call a prostitute? I put man in front of everything for the man version. Gigolo. I can't. Let me just get out of there, because I'm like, wow. For some of y'all, they were sending those to you, or they themselves are that, and they would seduce, you know, people's lovers. And maybe they're a madam, you know, maybe maybe they were sending folks to your persons and shit. You see that? Oh, sending youngsters and, you know what I'm saying, studying motherfuckers, and then honey pots. They call them honey pots, but anyway. Child, let me get into the clips here. Gotta show y'all this right here in a few minutes. We gotta talk about it. The question was, what would a sociopath do? How far would they go? Well, they would primarily use sophisticated psychological manipulation and deception, okay, rather than destroying physical evidence to hide the guilt, okay? Since they lack remorse, their goal, blah, 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 but to avoid consequences and maintain control. They will deflect responsibility and make the victim or others, listen, make the victim or others feel guilty for their actions. Even if they get somebody to do it for them, to pin the blame on someone else. Did you hear that? Even if they get somebody else to do it for them so that they can be able to pin the blame on somebody else. Okay? Playing the victim. They will feign illness, exaggerated misfortunes, fabricate crises to gain sympathy and divert attention from their wrongdoing. Charm and disarming, superficial charm and flattery to manipulate people, to get their trust and support their narrative. They are skilled at projecting. Okay? Okay. Twisting words. Okay? Take what the victims, what someone has said and twisted out of context, absurdity to discredit and avoid accountability. Moving the goalposts. They demand proof and present it, change the terms of the argument to make it impossible to settle. Yes. When caught, they'll create a new complex detail lie to cover up their tracks. Physical evidence tampering. Though they prefer psychological methods, sociopaths may also tamper with or destroy physical evidence. Since they lack remorse, they are willing to take actions that others would not. Fabricate evidence. They may go as far as to create false evidence to frame someone else for their crime. Exploitation of systems. A sociopath may exploit legal or organizational processes. When they're caught, they do not feel guilt or shame for their crime. Instead, they will be concerned with the inconvenience of being caught. Their response will be calculated to maximize their own interests and could include aggressive or angry outbursts, fake emotional displays such as crocodile tears, rationalizing their behavior by blaming the victim, ignoring the confrontation and just walking away if they feel they are not dependent on that person at all. Now, for a psychopath, based on the FBI analysis, a psychopath would hide evidence of a crime by exhibiting a combination of meticulous planning, manipulation, and pathological lying. With a little to no remorse, their method can either be organized and calculated, or in some cases characterized by a brazen arrogance. Wow. Wow. Hold on one second. Hold on one second. Child. Child. Arrogance that leads to careless slip-ups. Good gravy. Methodical in their approach is a carefully part of the crime. Okay. Methodical disposal. Oh, get rid of body, other evidence remains in certain locations. Blame shifting. Psychological something other use of a subordinate partner as a scapegoat. Manipulating the other person into taking the for the crime. Woo. They may be overly cooperative during interviews to appear innocent. This is a tactic that can deceive even experienced investigators. Minimum evidence left behind. Hallmark of an organized psychopath is the lack of physical evidence left at the crime scene. They are methodical in their attempts to cover their tracks. Deceptive and manipulative behavior. When confronted or interrogated, a psychopath relies on an array of deceptive tactics to hide psychopaths have been shown to manipulate the legal system to receive reduced sentences or early releases. They can imitate emotions like remorse in the courtroom to influence an outcome. Gaslighting. The psychopath manipulation or gaslighting on a victim or witness to doubt to doubt their sanity or memory. This is particularly common in sexual abuse case. Distraction. During questioning, they may attempt, to take control of the conversation. During questioning, they may attempt to take control of the conversation. By bringing up, something defenses to project blame onto blah, blah, blah. I'm trying to read under y'all's numbers up there. To appear something in a negative light. Yep. Arrogant and careless behavior. Boasting. This is where they slip up sometime. Sloppy mistakes. Because they think they're invulnerable. So some of them can be impulsive. The detachment as a key of a guilty psychopath. Some, if they're skilled enough, investigators. Some of them, it's like, a little bit too detached. So again, anything to wash their hands of the blood that's actually on their hands. They didn't want anyone to ever find out that this is the kind of stuff that they've been into. Okay? Their own blood as well as, their own blood, their own people's blood, as well as, others. And they knew that the collective was possibly a key, okay, to not only unlock what was done to them and their children, but would bring enlightenment to who these people really are and what they've been doing. And what they are even currently doing to other people other than just the collective and their children. Because many of them, this is how they have what they have. They have double lives. This is the reason for the seemingly sudden cases of luck that they have had over the years, or the sudden cases of wealth that they seem to have over the years. And they know it. Crime and cover-up. And the cover-up is definitely always worse than a crime, because they have to go to all of these links, all of these extents. They have to triple and double down on everything that they were already doing, on top of now they're, adding, essentially trying to erase, unalive, and imprison somebody, because that's what it is. It's an attempt to imprison someone in their control. I was hearing, some of the things that they were doing along the way these years, unbeknownst to the collective, as they were stalking their lives and infiltrating them around the U.S. They were all these people that was dumb, okay? They were saying, telling these people, watch them and let me know everything they do. Because that was supposed to help them to know what they needed to do next, what they needed to plan, what kind of spell they needed to do, if and when they could manage to navigate within their homes that they had no business doing, or getting people to do that. I need you to watch them and report to me and tell me what they do, where they go. Send me some pictures, send me videos. So that they can try to look and analyze how much of the spells are working. It's so many reasons. Yeah, that's kind of a deep obsession, isn't it? It is. And maybe the collective didn't know that it was that deep until now. Remember, their greed, their arrogance, their entitlement, being loose cannons is going to always be what brings these kind of people down. Always. Because then their obsessions begin to bring alerts, attention to it. See it? It begins to bring alerts, because otherwise, if they were tempered, it's harder to detect. But because of that hostility, that aggression, that anger problems, that loose cannon, that, you know what I'm saying? That arrogance, that the high that they get, because a lot of these are on the dark triad. These people, they're on the dark triad. They're sadists, Machiavellians. So, in other words, well, a part of the whole shit, the supply, is just being able to know that they're torturing you and to be able to have a front seat to it by proxy, even if it's by proxy, a part of that is in knowing that they think they've controlled, I'll put it that way, in knowing that they know everything about you, at least so they think, and that they can manipulate people around you that they all equally talk about. I find this extremely funny. Yes, I do. It's actually one of my favorites, because it's like I laugh inside because I'm like, these niggas these niggas and bitches be loyal to these motherfuckers, and they be clowning them in secret. They be talking about their ass behind their back. Yup, the ones that took the bait. Yep. Oh, don't worry. Some of these people are starting to find out and get their own proof, but it'll continue to unravel like that. Because one of the things that these people do, they just said that, they're trying to come against our connection. They're trying to cause division. They trying to play, they'll say they're trying to, they're trying to cause division. They're trying to play, whatever, to convince people like, I would never. But folks is crazy, because I would know it. I mean, and I may not be the sharpest pencil. I'm smart, but I may not be the sharpest pencil in the box, right? But even I would know. If I was getting into some shit I came in knowing this shit was on on Shady Acres. So I wouldn't doubt the possibility, because the person already showed, I already know. I know they're corrupt, and I'm interested in such corruption. And so since I know that, since I know that I'm interested in such corruption, it tells me, to me, that there's a possibility that they're not integral even regarding me. Because if they're not integral, why do I think I'm the fucking exception? Why should I think that I am the fucking exception? Why should I think that they're gonna just be 100 with me, straight up, give me all the pertinent information that I need to know, bitch? And yeah. Okay, well, so let's go ahead. We got 31, 35. A part of me want to end this and start again. Okay. So I'm going to end this. That's the discussion version of the reading. And then I'm going to come back on possibly in 2 and 2. Okay. Where did I used to hear that at when I was little, on 2 and 2? And then we're just going to get straight to the read. I'm not going to go over intros. I'm not going to recap. I'm just going to pick up on the questions that we're asking up to date. If this is your reading, my readings are timeless. That's something you should know. It's something that I've had to painfully learn. Also, be practical and grounded, please. I don't care who you're listening to, me, anybody, anything, anywhere. Be grounded. It is your life. It's, you know, decisions ought not be made solely on someone else's guidance, whether that is a psychiatrist, anybody, in my opinion. It's your life. You're living it. Okay? There needs to be something clicking inside. There needs to be things, actual things that have occurred in your situation that links it. Okay? That would, you see what I'm saying? And be safe. That's something else I want to say. I'm going to keep highlighting that, because if you're a part of this collective, this is serious. It's serious. I joke around and laugh and make, you know, make things humorous to laugh. Also, you know, the ridiculousness of this shit, like, because it's almost, you almost have to shake your head and scratch and like, because you have to be like, shit, bitch, this is a movie, bitch. Like, what kind of shit? But it's very serious. If, you know, and it's unfortunate if this is even your shit. Okay? Because this is not just you. This affected your children. So this is some sicko shit. Yeah, and I saw them 2 bitches last night. I'm just gonna let y'all know right now. It's an astral travel, bitch. Better tell you something. They know it too, who I'm talking about. My relatives. It was pertaining to my son. What they've been doing in the weirdo group. I'm gonna be on that. I'm on their ass, bitch. I'm gonna ride this shit until the sunset, bitch. I'm gonna ride them, bitch. Me and my team, bitch. Me and my whole posse, motherfuckers. The fuck? Sickos. They are. And all that I'm saying is very fitting. People take offense, but it's fitting. It's fitting. Who does that kind of shit? Because your feelings hurt. They need help. It wouldn't hardly be nobody here if oh shit. Oh, it wouldn't hardly might be nobody. Oh, if it came down to I wants to get, have people not hear because they hurt my feelings, it wouldn't hardly be much left in certain states. Because they hurt my feelings. They hurt my feelings. My feelings. Okay, they hurt my feelings. So now I want them gone off the earth. I want them over there. Oh, shit. Okay. I'm still, y'all, trust me, if this is your story, as it is partially my story, I can tell you, I'm still, as it's continuing just to unravel and more truths come, I'm still, I just don't know. I'm serious. I'm just like, I'm even thinking about people I dated, not just, most of you know already because I kind of possibly reference really two the most, but I'm not even just talking about those two. Like, it's caused me to even just go, just look, like, start to like, I wonder, because you start to wonder how long has something been going on. You start to wonder how many of these motherfuckers was fucking honeypots and shit from online, nigga, that they sent this nigga and whoop. Woo. It makes you wonder, because people didn't just suddenly within the last 3-4 years, within the last 9-10 years, they didn't just suddenly become people that are easily bought and sold. People have been that way. Woo. Anyway, we got 38. What is it? 38 on the clock. I'm going ahead. Woo. I'm gonna be back in 2 and 2. Y'all go get your coffee, your water, your tea. Meditate or go within, tap into your heart space. If this is yours, you're reading and see, set your intention. And at the end of it, I am going to try to bring in some highlight that's empowering for the collective. In the moment, that's in the now, that's true. But that can assist with your frequency, because when you find out it was about compromising your vibration, compromising your children's vibrations to make you susceptible, your biofield, which is something that science has evidence of. It's not woo-woo tree hugger patchouli. We have a biofield that is an invincible form of layer of protections. Just didn't know that until science acknowledged it and started, providing that to say, oh, before then it's like, And so people, the dark practitioners and folks who have these knowledges and stuff, that's a part of why they strategically they want you in heavily dense locations. And dense mean, not saying that the people are dense. Dense is meaning that the frequency and the vibration And it could be that for various reasons, such as slavery, certain areas where the invisible world, the energy, the entities. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Face is busted wide open. The mystery is gone.